today from balmy Pullman, Washington. It's the 89th renewal of the Apple Cup. Washington and Washington State next. Today, live from Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington, it's Pac-10 Conference football with a terrific league matchup with the 89th annual Apple Cup as the Washington State Cougars play host to the Washington Huskies. And hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is David Norrie. We have a great college football matchup. It is a great rivalry. It's the old East versus West. It's the Cats versus the Dogs. It's the big city against the country. And check this statement out. It comes from Dan Lynch, class of '84 with the Cougars. He said there are 4 stages in your life. You're born, you play the Huskies, you get married, you die. These guys take their football seriously.
Well, they really take their football seriously. They take the rivalry seriously. A lot riding on this game for the Washington Huskies. They have a shot to play on New Year's Day in the Cotton Bowl if they can come up with a win. The only problem, Pullman, Washington has been very tough on the Huskies. The Huskies have only won here once since 1986.
Well, the Cougars know they have to stop the great Corey Dillon, who had a record-setting performance last week.
Corey Dillon is a big, talented tailback. Last week, 222 yards in the first quarter alone. He leads the country in scoring, and in the first quarter, he had a 78-yard touchdown jaunt, just one of 4 touchdowns that he scored in the football game.
And Washington State really feels that they have to run the ball as well to be successful. That means Michael Black, they'd like to see him go over 100 yards. But you really feel that Ryan Leaf, their quarterback, has to come up with big plays.
Well, Ryan Leaf has to win this game with his throwing arm. He has to go with some short drops, be effective in the passing game. Last year, in his first start, the Apple Cup game, 22 for 33, 1 touchdown. He scored 2 touchdowns on the ground. Ryan Leaf is truly one of the great young talents at quarterback in the country.
Well, the elements today rather cold, and that's one reason we've got Larry Burnett on the field, who battled the elements in Eugene last week. He'll go again today here in Pullman. Larry?
Well, the good news is all the snow is off the field. It's on the sidelines. Yesterday, this field was frozen. They said you would have needed golf shoes to play on it. Today, it's okay. They're not wearing golf shoes. They're not going to wear the regular turf shoes either. They're going to wear the Destroyers, the ones with the big cleats to give them traction. If they want to stay warm, they've got the regular gloves for warm. For the ball handlers, these will give them a better grip on the football. And for the linemen, these are padded. Knuckles on the turf, this will help. As far as the jerseys, don't even think about wearing the mesh one. That's for warm weather. Get it out of here. They're wearing the cold weather ones with the pockets, and in those pockets, little heaters to keep them warm. I'm hanging on to these guys. You're on your own.
Hey, what do you say you take them over to those fellows? We got some wild and crazies. They come out for Washington and Washington State. Now to get you caught up with the latest in the world of college football, we send you back to the Fox Television Center and Randy Sparagi. And here come the Huskies. It is absolutely perfect Apple Cup weather in Pullman, Washington. Cold with snow on the ground and more coming. 34 degrees, winds from the east. There is a chance for more snow late tonight. Well, today will be the 89th time these two schools have met. The Huskies have won 56, the Cougars 26, and they have tied 6 times. More importantly, the home team has won the last 5 games. This series began right at the turn of the century. These two coaches have a lot in common. Washington's Jim Lambright went to Everett High School, class of 1961, and one of the guys who watched him play at Everett and later at UW is Cougar coach Mike Price, Everett High School class of 1964. Price said he and his buddy Dennis Erickson would drive an hour to cheer on Lambright and the Huskies, and Price told us yesterday, when I became a Cougar, that's the last time I ever cheered for Jim. Well, here we go. Washington State has won the toss. They will receive the football on the kick from John Wales. D. Morincola, Kevin McKenzie back deep. the way to the 34. Well, here's the big fellow from Great Falls, Montana. He is huge quarterback, 6'6", 244 pounds, a redshirt sophomore. And he has very fine numbers, 2,560 yards, 20 touchdowns. Those rival sophomore years like Tim Rosenbaugh, Drew Bledsoe, Jack Thompson, the great quarterbacks that Washington State has had in their past. Washington State wants to run the ball well. Let's see if they go to Michael Black early. They will. And he hammers the left side, no gain. He may have been pushed back. The starting lineups are presented by Southwest Airlines. Michael Black is their leading rusher with 884 yards. Tim's a very good wide receiver. Will also play that slot back. The offensive line, Scott Sanderson, a future pro, goes 6'6", 296 pounds. He's probably the best lineman they've had since Mike Utley, who went to the Detroit Lions. 2nd and 11. Washington showing the blitz. Well, they've got 9 on that line. And Leaf will run it again. And Black cannot get outside. He'll gain about 4, but it'll be 3rd down and long. Tony Parrish ran him out of bounds. Defensively for Washington, David Ritchie is the senior tackle, and a good one from Kelso, Washington. The linebackers probably the best in the Pac-10 as a group. Jason Chorak leads the conference in sacks with 13.5. And Tony Parrish may be the best safety in the Pac-10 conference. He has really done a nice job since replacing Lawyer Malloy, who's now with the New England Patriots. Third and 6. No backs. Everybody split out. With the 3-step drop, he misses his tight end David Knupp, who really should have caught the football, and Jerry Jensen with good coverage.
All day long, Washington State, the theory behind their offensive set, they go with 3 wide receivers, sometimes 4 wide receivers. They want to spread you out as a defense and go after you in the secondary.
So now coming on to punt for Washington State is Jeff Banks. He averages 43 yards per boot. You see that long of 55. They have a better kicking program than does Washington. And smothered at the 22, really taking a chance at accepting the football was Washington, and Dave Janoski is down immediately. Here's Brock Heward, a 6'5" redshirt freshman from Puyallup, Washington. He's thrown for 1,534 yards. His responsibility, get the football into the hands of Corey Dillon. And when the play-action pass works because Dillon is running so well, that is when Heward has been so effective. Double tight end. They give it to Dillon. He slams the middle. He went over the left guard, Bob Sapp, and gains about 5 yards. The Husky lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. Corey Dillon, the great running back, but watch Jerome Pathon. He's a big play wide receiver already with 6 touchdowns this year. Great offensive line. Benji Olson, Football News first team All-American. He goes 6'4", 310 pounds, and he is only a sophomore from Port Orchard, Washington. There is Benji. They think he is one of the best linemen they have ever had, and they've had great ones in Seattle. They'll run Dillon right, and he's to the outside. First down, Corey. Derek Henderson pushes him out of bounds. Defensively for Washington State, Gary Holmes and Leon Bender, 2 of the best tackles that the Cougars have had. Both are over 6'6" and 300 pounds. The linebackers, James Darling in the middle, leads the Pac-10 with 125 tackles. And the secondary, Dwayne Stewart, is a big, physical, strong safety at 6'3", 215 pounds, a junior from Ontario, California. Across the 37-yard line. There are flags down. Heward trying to throw to Janoski, and I believe a Cougar was in the neutral zone.
Washington State will be hit with an offside penalty. 3 linemen along the Cougar defensive front stepped into the neutral zone. Good job by the young quarterback, Brock Heward, using his cadence.
Offside. Defense, 5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
David, we were talking with his offensive coordinator, Scott Linehan, yesterday, and he was telling you that he has really matured a lot since we saw him last against UCLA.
And the running game with Corey Dillon takes so much pressure off a young quarterback. Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, last night told us he has been so impressed with Heward's command at the line of scrimmage and his checks getting the Huskies to good downhill running plays in the offense.
12 touchdown passes, 5 intercepted. Field goal play action now with plenty of time. Block going deep. Corey Dillon, no, incomplete 25-yard line. What was the last thing that Scott Linehan told us yesterday? Dillon can come out of the backfield and catch the ball well.
And when you have a great offensive line and a tailback like Corey Dillon putting up the numbers he has over the course of the season, it makes your play action passing game that much more effective. Heward, a bootleg to the left, looking on the fade route down the sideline to his tailback Corey Dillon. Just an effortless throw for Heward. He's a very talented passer.
Again, Washington going double tight end. It's 2nd down and 5. They will run their backup running back, and that is Jason Harris, as Dillon went to the sideline, and Jason up close to a first down. He is only a sophomore from Diamond Bar, California. They've come over from Seattle. He's got a nose job.
The game plans for both teams in this Apple Cup rivalry game center around Corey Dillon.
Well,
Washington very impressive converting on 3rd downs over the course of the year. Washington State defensively is a 7-man front, but to stop this running game of the Huskies, they're going to go with 8-man and 9-man defensive fronts over the course of the afternoon.
Harris stays in. Dillon still on the sideline. And a flag is down, and the Cougar may have been across that neutral zone. A first down regardless. Darling on the tackle.
We talked about Heward and his ability to be the field general even as a freshman. Once again in a critical situation this opening drive. He pulls the Cougars offside. This is going to be a first down for the Huskies.
David, in that situation, is it the center, Olin Kreutz, who makes the decision when he sees a defensive lineman in that neutral zone?
The Cougars' penalties hurting them all year long.
Defense, 5 yards from the previous spot. The yardage gives Washington the first down.
But getting back to your comment, Steve, it's the quarterback's job to draw the defensive players into the neutral zone with his cadence, and then if the center, Olin Kreutz, feels a defender in the neutral zone, he'll snap the ball immediately and take advantage of the 5-yard penalty.
Well, the Huskies in Cougar territory at the 49. Fred Coleman goes in motion. Dillon back in. Gains nothing. James Darling's there from Kettles Falls, Washington.
And it's really a numbers game. Washington State, they're going to commit extra defenders to the line of scrimmage. 8-man, 9-man defensive fronts. James Darling, the top tackler in the Pac-10. Getting a little help there from number 4, Johnny Nansen. But Washington State is just going to try to gang up on that Husky running attack and put the game in the hands of the freshman quarterback.
2nd and 10. They'll go with one tight end, and he's a good one, Cameron Cleland on the right. Dillon, he slams forward. He was met, David, at the 45-yard line, but his leg drive so strong, taking him all the way to the 41.
Corey Dillon came into the ball game with 1,400 yards, the best season in Washington history. And he is such an impressive combination of quickness and moves and just straight ahead power. If you're not set as a linebacker or defensive back, Corey Dillon's going to run you over.
He has 24 yards now on 4 carries. 3rd down, 2 yards to go. No backs as Dillon goes in motion. Heward dumps it off Cleveland. Cleveland gets the first down and more inside the 30-yard line. Gary Holmes, the defensive tackle, had to run down the big tight end from behind.
So we met with Washington State defensive coordinator Bill Doba last night. I said, Bill, are you worried about the Huskies screen game? He said, you know, they haven't been running many screens lately, but I am worried about the tight end screen. That's a big concern for me. And a great job on the last play, slipping the tight end outside, the screen pass, and the Huskies are operating first down.
Bill Doba, we understand, might be wanted by Indiana University after they let go of their coach, Bill Mallory. Double tight, Jason Harris, big hole. Harris banging his way to the 22-yard line. And all of this second and short situation really gives Washington a big edge.
Washington is very good up the middle. The two guards in the center, the best trios inside on the offensive line across the country. And that's why the Huskies love to run the ball inside. They like to send Corey Dillon in between the tackles for the punishing ground game. They come out and say, hey, let's see if you can stop us.
They average close to 300 pounds on that offensive line. Harris stays in the game. Brock wants to throw. There's the fade. And Jerome Pathon can't come down with it in the end zone.
Intended receiver.
Beautiful pass thrown, though, by Brock Heward.
It is so tough to put pressure in the pocket on Brock Heward. Washington loves to go with the quick three-step game. They pick up the blitz. Washington State was bringing Derek Henderson on the safety blitz, the fade pass into the end zone, and a great effort by Pathon leaving his feet. Not a bad throw either from Brock Heward. Brock Heward knows he missed that ball by just inches.
So Dillon comes back in on 3rd down and 2. And Corey gets the call to carry the first down. Golly, he is tough. We started this year, and when we saw him in his first start against Stanford play so well, we thought, hey, there's not a better running back in the Pac-10 conference. Now we're beginning to think there might not be a better running back in all of college football.
He's been so effective, especially over the last 5 games. And coming into the season, the University of Washington had a man by the name of Rashawn Sheehy at tailback. He was the most highly publicized tailback coming into the year in the conference. But Dillon has made a lot of people forget about Sheehy in Seattle.
Dillon going right, cutting back to the 5 and out of bounds. Johnny Nansen running him out of bounds. We're talking about Rashawn Sheehy. It was last year where Leon Neal was the running back. He got hurt. Sheehy came in and became an all-Pac-10 runner. Now Sheehy goes down with an ankle injury this year, and he can't get back in the lineup because of number 4.
Dillon showed that he was such a force even during the off-season, the spring and the early fall, that even if Sheehy was going to stay healthy over the course of the '96 season, Dillon was going to get a lot of playing time. He's that good as a running back.
2nd down and short again. Impressive drive by Washington on their first possession. Dillon, though, gets stopped well shy of the line of scrimmage. He'll lose 1.5 yards. And Dorian Booz with an impressive tackle coming from his left end. It started at their own 21, and they've gone 12 plays thus far. Now it's 3rd down and 2.
Washington State pretty impressive up front as well. Booth, Holmes, Bender, Doyle. As a unit, they're a little bit better rushing the passer. Today, they're going to be called upon to stay at home and exert some force against the Husky running game.
Will they go back to Dillon? Yes, they will. And he's stopped at the 6-yard line. Brandon Moore.
Well, James Darling, the middle linebacker, gets most of the publicity at Washington State. He leads the conference in tackles, but the second leading tackler for the Cougars, Brandon Moore, has had a great '96 season. penetration into the backfield. The best way to take down Dillon is get him before he gets started.
Now from 23 yards out, John Wales was the hero last year as Washington beat Washington State in Seattle. His field goal is on the way and perfect. It's the 89th Apple Cup, and John Wales has given Washington a 3-0 lead on Washington State. Washington has a 3-0 lead on Washington State. It's the 89th meeting of this Apple Cup, and there is Mike Price. He's had a little bit of the flu, was under the weather yesterday, but he said, hey, I will completely forget my illness during the Apple Cup. This is war. Mackenzie Morancola back deep. Short kick. And down at the 28-yard line is Sean Timms.
All year long, the Huskies utilizing that high pooch kick on kickoffs. Very difficult for teams to handle that kick, especially with some of the upbacks, but Price, a great job this week working with his teams. Got 14 plays on that opening drive, just a bruising drive behind Corey Dillon. But Price, a nice job of having his special teams ready for the Huskies' special kickoffs.
Leaf needs to come up with some first downs. Play action pass is going deep. And it is almost intercepted. Washington State's defense, though, David, was on the field almost 7 minutes, and it's important that the Cougars come up with some first downs to give them a rest.
That's one of the tough things about going with the 3 wide receiver base set on offense. It's tough to control the ball with your running game. You only have one back in the backfield.
Well, you got a feeling of just how cold it is. This guy's on fire. 2nd and 10. On the line of scrimmage. And now they blitz. Leap picks it up. And again it's incomplete. 3rd and 10. Jermaine Smith back-to-back fine defensive plays.
And what a job by the young freshman cornerbacks all year long for Washington. Jermaine Smith, number 1. Mel Miller on the other side. Teams have tried to go after the corners of Washington throughout the season. The front 7, front 8 for the Huskies has been so tough to run against, but these corners have been good against the passing games of opposing teams in the Pac-10. Tough assignment for Ryan Leaf this afternoon.
And the Cougars last in the Pac-10 at converting 3rd down. Leaf almost had it picked off. He threw it right by his intended receiver, Sean Timms. So it's 3 and out again for the Cougars, and Leaf incomplete on 3 in a row.
Leaf, not a good job early. He's going to low percentage throws, taking a couple cracks down the field. Here, a very poorly thrown ball on the crossing route. He was trying to hit Timms, his slot back, on a dig route across the middle. Very lucky not to get that ball picked off by the free safety.
Jeff Banks. Jarzinka. Jarzinka trying to get outside, and does! And look at this! The walk-on cut down from behind at the 46-yard line. Joe Jarzinka, the walk-on from Gig Harbor, Washington.
31-yard return.
Nice return by the young guy. Look at the locks from behind. He's the Yanni of college football. Pac-10 Conference Football is brought to you by GTE. It's amazing what we can do together. By Southwest Airlines, with low fares on every flight, every seat, every day. And by Power Bar, fuel for optimum performance. Steve Physiak, David Norrie, Larry Burnett with you, and the Washington State fans have brought their hard hats. Or their big ones anyway. I would imagine there's a lot of shouts of down in front behind them. Washington, 1st and 10. Hewer third. He's going deep for the home run. Jerome Paython almost hauled it in. It would have been a sensational catch. Well, Jim Lambright told us if there's one wide receiver we have who's not afraid of the cold weather, it's Jerome Paython from Vancouver, British Columbia.
Great action in the pocket on the play action fake, and this was an unusual route by Paython. He ran a post, corner post. He made a move to the center of the field, then outside, then back to the middle, and Heward just missed Paython on that play. I think Paython should have kept his feet. Would have had a better chance to bring that ball down.
Easy for you to say up in this warm booth. Here's Corey Dillon. He'll only gain 3 yards. Not even 3. He'll gain 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
The Cougars continuing to go with 8-man and 9-man defensive alignments 3 times already in the first quarter. Heward has just missed Jerome Paython on deep routes, and on all 3 of those routes, Paython has left his feet on diving attempts. I think the first 2 were warranted, but on that corner post pass, the 2nd down play, Paython's got to keep his feet. He had a great shot to bring that down for 6.
Now single coverage for both DeMorancola and Chad Hinchin on the right side. Heward backing up, and Paython hit hard by Dwayne Stewart as the pass goes incomplete, and this is a very important defensive series for Washington State.
Brock Heward was trying to set up the wide receiver screen outside to Jerome Paython. Some viewers may ask, hey, why isn't that pass interference? You can haul off and hit a receiver if he's behind the line of scrimmage before the ball arrives. And secondly, that ball was really uncatchable. Not a very good pass by the young quarterback Brock Heward.
Sean Timms, he is actually tied for the Pac-10 lead with Jerome Paython, both at 12.1. So we will see 2 of the top return specialists in the conference today. And that ball going towards Timms, but into the end zone. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars at their own 20-yard line. Let's go down to Larry.
Well, guys, defensive lineman Dorian Boost, number 90 back here, has a lot on his mind today, not just the game. This little beeper is being carried around by trainer Mark Smaha. It is connected to his wife Brenda, who is expecting any minutes. She is at home. He is here. They're connected by the beeper. He's got a lot on his mind. Back up to you.
No question, and Brenda was supposed to deliver this past Tuesday. And the coaching staff was saying, wouldn't you know it, it'll be game day, 4th quarter, big moment, and we got to lose the boozer.
The media asked Boost this week, what if the delivery took place during the game? And he said, no doubt, I'd head straight to the hospital. I'd have to forego the Apple Cup.
1st and 10, a draw. The tackle is broken by Michael Black, but then he's surrounded just past the line of scrimmage by Jason Chorak and also John Fiala.
Well, Price said yesterday it was so important to not abandon the running game early. Very tough to run against this 8-man defensive front for Washington. Washington State has the benefit of going with 3 wide receivers. That takes one of those 8 men out of the box, away from the line of scrimmage, close to the football. Washington State, not a lot of success early running the football.
Huskies have been stopping everybody from running well. I mean, they have won their last 5 games after that terrible loss at Notre Dame. Ryan Leaf throws. It is caught at the 25-yard line and out of bounds near the 28. Jerry Jensen pushed him out. Look at this in overtime. USC and UCLA. Wow. The Trojans had a big lead early, and the Bruins have come back.
USC led 24-7 in that game.
And Stanford may be going to a bowl. Tyrone Willingham said November has to be theirs, and that Cardinal ball club has played so well. And Oregon hammering Oregon State. What an upset here, as Ohio State will not go to the Rose Bowl without. With an unbeaten season. The Buckeyes, for the 2nd straight year, unbeaten, playing Michigan, and they lose. Stuck at the 24-yard line. Great play by Chris Campbell. Well, they're running for minus yardage, and it was that Notre Dame game that really turned things around for this Washington football game.
Washington is so good on the outside. Their strong linebacker, Chorak, Jerry Jensen on the other side, but a great year, a quiet year, but a great year inside by both Chris Campbell and David Ritchie. Nice play by Campbell on that third down.
And still the Cougars on 3 possessions have not come up with a first down. Jarsinka at the 30. This kid has absolutely tremendous courage, or he has limited smarts, because that's twice now, David, that he should have fair caught the football, and he's fortunate to come up with it. We pause now for this word from your local stations. You're watching Pac-10 to tie this game in the first quarter. Down 3-0. Leaf swings it to Michael Black. Forget it. A huge loss of 8 yards in the play. Lester Towns, the inside linebacker, just a redshirt freshman from Pasadena, California.
The future of this Husky team, very scary. Lester Towns is a backup linebacker for Washington, and he is really a player of the future. He plays behind John Fiala at that inside linebacker spot. Fiala slowed several weeks during the '96 season with injuries, and Towns has done a great job filling in. He's very athletic. I think he's a future All-American in Seattle.
This is Washington State's 4th possession. They have 1 yard total offense. And Leaf throwing, and they get something back here, but there's a fumble in the play by Nyan Taylor. They say he did not hold it long enough. So Leaf is facing a 3rd down and 18, and they're just going backwards.
Well, Ryan Taylor has struggled early with his accuracy. This time he's right on the money. Great ball on the slant to Taylor. Taylor has to make that play. This is a poor play by Nyan Taylor. In an Apple Cup game, you have to make that catch. He may miss a little bit of playing time the rest of the way. You just have to come up with those plays at this level.
Washington right now not showing a blitz. They might come from the left side where Jerry Jensen is. He's number 40. He drops back in coverage. Leaf in trouble now. Wings it downfield. Incomplete at the 23-yard line. Well, Leaf wasn't helping himself early. Now he's throwing it where his receivers can catch it, and they're just not coming up with a football.
You might have a face mask here that isn't called. It's after the play, after the ball was released by Leaf, and sometimes Leaf doesn't go with the most sound fundamentals in the pocket. A sidearm delivery. He threw that ball down the field late.
Bunt by Jeff Banks as it goes out of bounds at the 25-yard line. 24 yards on the boot. Washington has a 3-0 lead as we are early in this ball game. 4:19 remaining in the first quarter.
The Cougars really let an opportunity slip away. They create the turnover near midfield. Ryan Leaf had a great shot to put his team in scoring position. Taylor with the drop. McWashington might have been able to come up with a play on that 3rd down pass. Now the Huskies have the ball back.
You have to take advantage of the mistakes Washington gives you. The Huskies, one of the best turnover ratio teams in the Pac-10 Conference, and Washington State dead last. It is Jerome Pathon with the catch. He is out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
When you play 8 and 9 men up on the line of scrimmage, you pay a price in the defensive secondary. The majority of this game, Washington State's going to have to lock up with the Washington receivers man-to-man. That makes things a lot easier for the quarterback and the receivers. On that last 1st down play, Brock Heward just pitch and catch with Pathon on the out route.
Derek Henderson, the free safety, will move over to double the 2 receivers on the right side. To the 43. You know, only one time this year has a Washington State defense allowed more than 100 yards to an opposing running back. That was Skip Hicks earlier this year for UCLA. But Corey Dillon with 54 yards rushing in the first quarter alone. Well, that's better than what San Jose State did against him last week, where they held him to 222. Huskies by 3. Did Washington have a handsome kick or two? Washington has a 3-0 lead over Washington State as we start the second quarter. And the Huskies with the football at their own 43-yard line, facing a 2nd and 5. Pathon to the right side, Dillon the lone setback, and they're going to go deep, and it's Jerome Pathon, and he makes the catch. A flag is down in the area where Jerome made the catch.
Jerome Pathon, number 24, the intended receiver.
Jerome, a transfer from Arcadia University in Nova Scotia. He was also on Canada's national track team. Great athlete, but he has the ability to play in cold weather.
Defense, 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, we had to wait to see how the referee sorted out that call. There was a question of whether the receiver had stepped out of bounds and then had come back inbounds to make the catch. That wasn't the case. Pass interference call, 10 yards. Not a spot of the foul call at the college level. So once again, Brock Heward working first down with his Husky offensive unit.
And they have the football at the Cougars' 42-yard line. Dillon stays in. 2 wide receivers left, Gerald Harris and Jerome Pathon. Flags go down. Dillon goes down, but I believe a Cougar was again, for the 3rd time in this game, in the neutral zone.
Washington State's going up against probably one of the best 10 teams in the country this afternoon. You can't make mistakes consistently in this game, and I'm talking about Washington State, and expect to beat a team the quality of Washington.
Defense, 5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
Dropped passes, offsides calls. And the Cougars cannot get it done that way. They're going to have to button things down, clean up their play both on offense and defense. They've done a great job so far not letting Corey Dillon get off.
David, we are having some technical difficulties. We're trying to correct those at this time, so please stay with us. First down, 5 yards to go. Kissel going out for the pass. He's covered, so Brock decides to run, and down he goes at the 35-yard line. The tackle by Dorian Booz. Well, you know, look at this. We've got a Husky who's probably the husband, a Cougar who's the wife, and they're sitting together. It's a battle of cats. Oh, she just got him on the side of the head.
So did you see that? Heward didn't pick up the first down. Now, this is a bitter rivalry. You have to talk to the people across the state of Washington. The last time these two teams met with the Rose Bowl on the line, 1981. Washington State and Washington in that game with a shot to go to the Rose Bowl. The Huskies came up with a 23-10 victory and moved on to Pasadena.
Well, Washington threatening to score some more. They currently have a 3-0 advantage on Washington State.
Well, we're hoping that the snow. No, actually, be serious with you. We need to put 14 guys on defense and pay off officials. But I don't know if there's any serious way of stopping Corey Dillon. We have to contain him and not let him break any long runs. Big plays is what we've got to make sure we don't let them have.
And there is number 4 going for his 21st touchdown this year in the all-time Washington scoring record. 3rd and goal. Dillon. He's in. And Corey Dillon has just set the all-time Husky scoring record breaking the mark of 125 set by the great All-American Hugh McElhaney back in the 1950s. And Dillon, some 46 years later, has rushed for 10 touchdowns in a season. Rushed for 20 and caught one more.
And just a great feel by Dillon to bounce that run outside. Washington State blitzing up the middle, stuffing things up the middle, and Dillon just bounces outside and runs over the strong safety, Dwayne Stewart.
John Wells for the point after. It is good, and the Huskies have themselves a 10-0 lead.
This is a blast play, and Washington State blitzing up the middle. Dwayne Stewart, the strong safety, trying to come up and take Corey Dillon on at the goal line. Dwayne Stewart is 6'2", 218 pounds. I mean, he's a big, strong safety, and Corey Dillon says it's going to take more than one tackler to stop me from getting into the end zone.
You know, he's carried the football over 20 times already in the first half. I haven't seen Arnold Schwarzenegger's new movie yet, but I think that's what he's after. He's Turbo Man.
And he does it quietly. He hasn't had any big runs yet in the first half. This big, talented offensive line of the Huskies, they work on you, they wear you down. I mean, Dillon, just his own physical nature can wear down a defense. Washington State's going to have to answer. The Cougars have not picked up a first down, and we have 7 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, we have seen Washington State with 4 offensive possessions, and their total time with the football is just over 4 minutes. That play took twice that much. 8:15 off the clock, and the Cougars defense has to be panting. I mean, they have been on the field almost the entire first half.
That's what Washington tries to do. They try to jump out to a lead. They have the 8-man defensive front on football. They turn you into a one-dimensional team where you have to throw the ball, abandon your running game, and then they rush the passer. Washington has the Cougars right where they want them right now, up 10 points.
Something special from the special teams could really help. It'll be Sean Timms at the 29-yard line. He's through! Past the 50. Timms out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. Well, David, they got something special.
We talked about Mike Price and his preparation against the short kicks, the short kickoffs that Washington has made popular this year, and a great job by John Wales, the kicker. He uses the sideline as an extra defender. The one thing you don't want to do as a kicker, if you're the last line of defense, is let Sean Timms get inside of you. Wales forces him outside and avoids the touchdown.
Make the Huskies pay. They accepted a fumble inside Washington territory and could not score. They'll go to Michael Black, and Black to the 35 and out of bounds near the 32. Let's go down on the field to Larry Burnett.
Corey Dillon with that record-setting touchdown got a lot of congratulations here on the Husky bench. This is a guy 3 years ago was drafted by the San Diego Padres, did not sign, and he was cleaning offices in Seattle when he decided to go to Dixie Junior College. He set records there, was the National Running Back of the Year, and the rest is history.
He had 1,899 yards to lead all junior colleges last year at Dixie, Utah. And look what he has done. 20 rushing touchdowns in one season. He is just too shy of the great Heisman Trophy winners O.J. Simpson and Marcus Allen. Play action. Not much was there, but the catch is made for maybe a yard gain, and it is the first complete pass thrown by Ryan Leaf in this game.
And you'd think on second and short, play action pass, Ryan Leaf would have some time in the backfield. Not so. Jason Chorhack, the sack leader in the conference, number 46 in the middle of your screen, was all over Ryan Leaf. Leaf did well just to get that pass off.
He is just a junior. Washington State has not converted a third down. They don't even have a first down in this game. Decision time for Mike Price, down 10-0. with 6 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the first half.
Ryan Leaf has a great future ahead of him playing for Mike Price in the Palouse here in Pullman. But he is going to have to become a more accurate passer. He's looking for McKenzie over the middle on that third down pass. He had him wide open, and just not a very good throw by Ryan Leaf.
David, he got 53% of his passes, but in his offense, you don't think that's good enough?
I don't think 53% is enough. I think his completion percentage has to be up closer to 60% if the Cougars are going to be successful with this offense.
4th and 3. Blitz on. He dumps it off. Incomplete. Intended for Mike Black. Jerry Jensen and Jason Chorak all over Ryan Leaf. So the 4th down goes for naught, and still the Cougars without a first down.
And Leaf faced pressure on that play. The Cougars were able to get into the pocket and get in Ryan Leaf's face, but Leaf is 6'6". He's got to make this play. He's got to take the ball out over Jerry Jensen, number 40, the linebacker, put a handle on the ball, and give Michael Black some running room. A bad throw, an inaccurate throw, and the Huskies take over.
And the Cougar defense back on the field again. We've played almost 25 minutes of football here at Martin Stadium, and Washington has had it almost 20 of those minutes. Dillon out past the 35-yard line near the 40. He's closing in on 100 yards rushing.
And when things are going the Huskies' way, when things are clicking for the Huskies, they have a 10-point lead. The Cougars can be sure about two things. They're going to see a lot more of Corey Dillon when they're on defense, and they're going to see a heavy pass rush. Ryan Leaf, if he's going to bring the Cougars back, he's going to have to do it against some heat.
Second and short. Brock Hewitt play action. Let's see if it works. It does for a first down to Fred Coleman at the 47-yard line.
Washington State putting a lot of men on the line of scrimmage, going man-to-man on the outsides. And that means you have to give the wide receiver some cushion when you're a cornerback. Good execution by Brock Hewitt hitting that out route. He has a very strong arm. He's going to play in the NFL someday.
Nearing the 5-minute mark of the first half. Huskies leading by 10. Dillon forward near the 40-yard line. That is his 24th carry of the first half alone, a good 6-7 yards. He's got now 86 yards rushing. But you remember last week, David, he had 16 carries in the first quarter alone. They're trying to keep everyone warm in the field. But he came to the sideline because we thought, you know, 222 in the first quarter, this guy can go after all kinds of records. Yet their coach, Jim Lambright, said he came to the sideline, hunted out Al Roberts, and said, hey, I'm done.
Well, you figure 303 yards of all-purpose running, you're going to be pretty tired after a quarter, and Corey Dillon was.
Well, they've come across again. This will be the 4th time they have been inside that neutral zone. Looked like Leon Bender, the big 6'5", 312-pound junior, jumped across.
Scott Linehan talked about Hewitt and how smart he's been at the line of scrimmage with his audibles.
Before the snap, offside, defense, 5 yards from the previous spot, and the yardage is enough for a first down.
Hewitt's been very heady, and he's been getting the team to the right plays, whether it's in the running game or the passing game. So far in this ball game, he's tried to draw the Cougars off sides when the Huskies have had a second and less than 5 or a third and less than 5, and that way he picks up the first down. Smart play by the young freshman.
And that is 5 penalties now against Washington State, the most heavily penalized team in the conference. Hewitt, he's got one-on-one coverage. Cleveland's out there, broken up nicely by Dwayne Stewart.
Number 85, the intended receiver, broken up by number 25, Dwayne Stewart.
I had a chance to watch this guy play some baseball on the Washington State Cougar baseball team, and he's good in that sport as well.
Hewitt just a straight 5-step drop. He's looking on the corner route to Cleveland, and Stewart, a nice job closing on the ball. Ball wasn't well thrown. The ball was thrown behind him a bit. Stewart's a guy who's not a very good practice player, but he shows up on Saturdays. The Cougars coaches have been very impressed with his play.
2nd and 10. This is Jason Harris. A short gain is Stewart making the tackle. Jason's getting a little more work today. He's got 3-4 carries after coming in with 32. He was primarily a blocking back in high school at Bishop Amat down in Southern California near Diamond Bar.
Big play coming up for the Washington State defense. Things are going well for Washington. They control the clock. They lead the Pac-10 in time of possession. The clock is already inside 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Well, Keaho is in the game as the fullback. Dillon remains in as the tailback. They will send Fred Coleman in motion. Pathon is to the right side. And they throw a sideline route to him, but the pass way too tall for Jerome Pathon.
And a good play by number 15, Shad Hinchin, the cornerback for Washington State. He's the Cougars' top cover man. A nice break on that out route. Huskies will have to punt.
Hamid Sarshar comes in to do just that. There will be a delay.
And I think there was some activity up on the line of scrimmage. It's a question here of whether Leon Bender, the defensive tackle for Washington State, was drawn offside.
Offside on a defense. 5 yards from the previous
They may
spot.
go for it now.
Still 4th down.
Leon Bender, number 91, over the left guard. Lester Towns, who plays as a linebacker defensively. He's in on special teams. This will not give the Huskies a first down.
But they will go for the field goal. And that means in comes the kicker, John Wales. His long this year has been just 42 yards. And this one will be from 47. Shane Courtney to hold. It's blocked. Washington State has it down the right sideline. Brandon Moore near midfield. Is this the break Washington State needed? Looks like big Leon Bender got one of those big paws up in the air and knocked it down.
Washington has had a tough time over the last couple of years in the kicking department, especially with their place kicker. John Wales doesn't get a lot of lift on the kick. Bender gets a piece of it. And Brandon Moore, with just a little bit more running room, he's liable to take this all the way back. A good job by Washington's place kicking outfit to get back and make the play.
Including John Wales, who slid by Brandon Moore, but still helped get him out of bounds.
Wales has not had a lot of success, especially on long field goals. 1 for 3 from 40 yards and beyond this season. The Huskies have not tried a 50-yarder or beyond.
Well, the Cougars have to take advantage of opportunities. Twice now their special teams have bailed them out and given them outstanding field position. And another time they had a fumble recovery inside the 40-yard line, but they have been unable to get on the scoreboard. Michael Black around the right side, and he is hammered down after a good game, but fumbles the football. He held on as he juggled it near the 45-yard line and is near a first down.
Head coach Mike Price told us yesterday, we're going to be patient. We're not going to get away from the running game. We've got to pick up some consistency. We haven't run the ball well the last 2 to 3 weeks. Last week against Stanford, we got away from Michael Black. And I think Mike Price has done a good job so far sticking with that running game.
They will run Black again. He will not get the first down as he noses forward to the 46-yard line. Needs to get to the 45, just past it, for the first down. David Ritchie on the tackle.
It's so tough when you play 3 receivers and a tight end to consistently run the football, because as a defense, you can bring one more defender inside and create some numbers problems for your running game.
Do they go back to Black, or will they throw the football? Single coverage left, play action pass. Leaf in trouble. Incomplete. Aliaga really busted Ryan Leaf as he tried to deliver that football to his tight end, David Knuff.
Aliaga coming on a blitz. Normally as an inside linebacker, he has pass coverage responsibilities, and he surprises Ryan Leaf. That is a solid tackle, especially in 35-degree weather. Real shaky start for Ryan Leaf. Only 2 for 12 for 0 yards.
And here's a guy who loves cold weather. He is from Russell High School in Great Falls, Montana. He said the colder the better. Washington guy likes cold weather.
Washington State not exactly threatening the field vertically with their passing scheme so far in this game.
Well, Washington was offsides, and this gives the Cougars their first down of the game, and we have just 2:37 remaining in the first half. Michael Black breaks a tackle past the 40. So a good 6-7 yard gain for Michael Black. You know, the one thing that has impressed me today is sometimes Black will break one tackle, but Washington's defensive recovery, their speed is so good.
That was a nice job by Black to break the tackle at the line of scrimmage, but also to change directions back to his right. Washington was bringing a blitz by the rover Nigel Burton. Black's gone over the 100-yard mark in 4 games so far this year.
Out of West LA Junior College, where he set a school record last year, rushing for over 2,400 yards in a single season. The Washington defense, he's not going much of anywhere. Loses 2. It'll be 3rd down and about 6.
If Washington State's going to get back into this game, they've got to rev up the passing game. Ryan Leaf has to shake the cobwebs. He has not been very effective over the course of the 3-game losing streak. Mike Price put together a tape for Ryan Leaf earlier this week with all his great plays over the course of the season, and he gave it to Ryan Leaf, and he wanted to show Ryan Leaf all the success that he had get some confidence back for this young quarterback.
They're going with 3 receivers to the left side. 3rd down, a passing down. Black was well covered. He came back looking for his tight end Knuff. It's incomplete and 4th down. Boy, they are just reading everything. That defense is doing a great job. Randy Hart, who is the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for Washington, really with a great design, well executed.
You see the patience there by Mike Price, helping Ryan Leaf get his jersey back over his shoulder pad. Ryan Leaf has been contained. Even though he's 6'6", he's got great scrambling ability, but the Huskies have done a great job keeping him in the pocket and harassing.
Kick. Too high. The Cougars let it go into the end zone. And Chris Jackson was the closest to it, and he was standing at the goal line waiting for it to come to him so he could knock it back, and it shot right past. The Huskies have 1 minute and 1 second left in the first half with a 10-0
lead. This isn't just a gym. Look at what it does. It changes lives. It makes thousands confident, accepting. This isn't just a coach. This coach helps build muscles, strength, endurance, self-esteem. This isn't just a ball. It improves concentration, focus, motivation, teamwork. This isn't just a sport. It's the way we train for life.
Employees of Time Warner Cable know that not all jobs are created equal. Theirs are better. It's not just the fantastic benefits, the latest technology, or newest equipment that make their work lives more satisfying. It's very simply put, the people. Employees of TWC are a team, and you may be able to join that winning group. Just stop by our offices at 3767 All-American Boulevard in Orlando and fill out an application for employment. Come and join the winning team at Time Warner Cable.
I really needed to reestablish my credit. Even more, I needed a reliable used car. The people at CarStop were fantastic. I got a great little Toyota. They helped me get financing at a rate and payment I could afford.
Right now, pay just $99 a month. Family, sports, and economy cars, even pickups, just $99 a month.
They really helped me at a time when I needed it most.
Oh, new way to buy a car!
CarStop, America's car store.
Washington with a 10-0 lead, and they have been impressive defensively in this game. And when you consider that they have 8 starters back on defense, 9 in offense next year, I think you're looking at a Husky football team that is going to be in the top 5 in the country.
Huskies just dominating the first half in time of possession.
Brock Heward, he has led his team to 1 touchdown drive. Corey Dillon has to 25, hammering to the 27-yard line, a gain of 7. Washington State has 21 total offensive plays in the first half. Corey Dillon has 25 carries in the first half.
Well, I think if you talked to Mike Price and you told him Washington would have 10 points at halftime, he'd be pretty pleased with that total. The problem is the Washington State offense has just been stagnant. I mean, they've committed to a passing style of offense up here in Pullman, and they are not throwing the ball effectively against the Huskies.
Well, they'll run it again, try and run it out, and this time Washington State all over number 4, and Shane Doyle and others pull him down. And likely will be the final play of the first half. Yes, Brock Heward running off towards the locker room. Washington, the offensive has given them 10, but the defense has been absolutely brilliant, stuffing one of the fine quarterbacks in college football in the young sophomore Ryan Leaf. But he has had one of his worst first halves this year, as Washington State has been shut out by the Husky defense. Washington came in the 12th rated team in the country, and with only 2 losses at 8-2, Washington State at 5-5, still with an outside chance at getting to a bowl game. Let's go down and visit with head coach of Washington State, Mike Price. He's with our Larry Burnett.
Mike, your defense has been able to get you some opportunities. You haven't been able to capitalize. What can you do in the second half?
Well, we need to catch the ball when we get the opportunity. We're not pass protecting very well. They're bringing a guy free, and we don't have it figured out who to block there. But our defense is playing good. We're still in this game. Made a couple of big plays in special teams. We've got to come out and get something going on offense. No question about it.
You went into the game wanting to keep Corey Dillon from breaking a big play. You've been able to do that, but he's been keeping your defense on the field a long time.
Yeah, and our offense 3 downs and out. You know, we've got to connect. They're pressuring us, so it looks like we're going to have to go deep a little bit.
All right, look forward to the second half.
Great.
All right,
thanks.
Mike's going to try to get his team going offensively. Problem is they're going to be kicking off in the second half, so Washington will have the ball to start the third quarter. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you, Larry. Only 16 for the Cougars, and they completed, 2 passes, but for no yards. 23:59 on time of possession. Only 6 minutes by Washington State, and the only way Ryan Leaf could engineer a first down was by way of a Husky penalty.
You'd have to go a long ways back to find a half of football where Washington State was held to 0 yards in the passing game. And that will be the story of the second half. Can Washington State come back through the airways?
There is Jim Lambright. Boy, he has been to so many Apple Cup games. He talked about the very first that he was part of just yesterday in 1961. Jim told us that he was a freshman, was not eligible to play, and the game was in Spokane. And Jim Owens was going for the Rose Bowl, and he's sitting in the stands, and Don Makita, one of the running backs, cut open his leg, needed 15 stitches, came back in the field, caught a 2-point play to put the Huskies in the Rose Bowl, and he said, I knew then that this game was mighty special.
Well, this rivalry game has been probably the most balanced of the 5 rivalry games played throughout the Pac-10 Conference. The home team has won this game the last 5 years. Washington has not had much success up in Pullman. They've only won 1 time here since 1986.
Jarzinka and Pathon, they're kicking it to Jarzinka at the 13. And Joe is upended. He's one of those coming right at you kind of guys. And Joe Jarzinka only goes 5'7", 165. He's the sophomore, is upended by Steve Gleason.
Also a great job by Torrey Holloman getting down the field and getting a piece of the return man. He were 5 for 12 in the first half. Not great numbers, but you don't have to have great numbers when you have Corey Dillon behind you and an offensive line that's on the roll.
Scott Linehan, his offensive coordinator, said he's bought into our offense being based on a great running back, and he has been very efficient, has not made mistakes. So they go to that very efficient running back, and Corey Dillon has 3 yards to the 30-yard line. 2nd and 7, Johnny Manson on the tackle. The Husky possessions, they go 73 yards on 14 plays the first time they have the football. Then they punt, they fumble, they go 14 plays for 75 yards in the Corey Dillon touchdown. And Corey Dillon closing in on 100 yards rushing. Closing in on 1,500 for the season, an all-time Washington record. Going for Pathon. He came back for the football, and it's a first down at the 48-yard line.
D. Morincola, the cornerback on the outside, man-to-man. And this ball is underthrown, not a well-thrown ball, but if you're playing man-to-man defense, it's tough to get your eyes back to the quarterback. Nice play by Pathon to slow down, play the ball before it hits the turf.
So 1st and 10, past the 48, and Corey Dillon breaking to the outside to the 45-yard line. Gain of 6, and Derek Henderson on the tackle. But Brock Heward being given time. And it's amazing how everything revolves around the run. Washington State can't run, therefore the defensive linebackers can blitz and be in leave space. Dillon gets 5-6 yards per carry, and Heward can go at the play action pass and freeze those linebackers.
And that big difference in the time of possession the first half, not only a result of Corey Dillon's running, but 3 and outs by Washington State on almost every offensive possession.
Play action, plenty of time again. Gerald Harris was out of bounds when he caught the football. D. Morincola with the coverage. It will be 3rd down and about 4 yards to go.
And I've been impressed by Morincola and Shad Hinchin at the corner positions. Washington State came out in this game. They said, we're going to put 8 men on the line of scrimmage, sometimes 9 men. That's going to exert a lot of pressure on our quarterbacks. They're going to be left in man-to-man coverage almost for the duration. But so far, Morincola and Hinchin more than holding up their end of the bargain.
His first career start was last year in the Apple Cup, and he had an interception. It's 3rd down. Will they go to Dillon, or will they put it in the air? Heward's going to throw. Incomplete at the 37-yard line. Good coverage by Hinchin. That corner opposite Morincola.
Brock Heward has what he wants here, but he lets this ball go too late. He lets the out route go after Fred Coleman makes his break. A little late pressure there, maybe a bit of a late hit, but you're not going to get that call in the Apple Cup game. This is a rugged history behind this 89-game rivalry.
Sarshar, number 34, awaiting the snap to kick it to Sean Timms. Timms, clear catches, 10-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will start their offense. Down 10 points with 90 yards to go.
35-yard punt.
We've got 13 minutes to play here in the third quarter. The Huskies by 10.
I need somebody help, not just anybody help. You know I need someone help.
Every day, millions of customers count on GTE people. GTE quality. GTE reliability. So if you think telecommunications have only complicated your life, there's one company you can count on for help.
Please help me.
GTE.
Help me.
Amazing.
These are the biggest feet in pro basketball. Shoe size 21. If you think the shoes are hard to fill, imagine what it takes to fill the rest of him. Big boy. Well, new cheese tortellini from Chunky foots the bill. It's loaded with giant ring-shaped pasta stuffed with cheese, plus huge chunks of chicken and tons of vegetables. So if you've got a giant appetite to feed, Chunky cheese tortellini scores with the big boys. Satisfied?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Campbell's Chunky, soup that eats like a meal.
Husky, guaranteed forever, and only at the Home Depot.
With the help of the college fund, I went to college. It prepared me for graduate school and other challenges, like being married to this guy.
Help young people reach their potential. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Please support the college fund. What do you mean, challenge?
Washington's defense has absolutely shut out the Cougar offense. It was punt first 4 times they have the football. Then they went for it on 4th down. Only made 7 yards on 4 plays, and they had to punt on their 6th opportunity in the first half, but only 6 minutes on offense. So Ryan Leaf, it's not like he's tired or anything. They come sprinting out on offense. Flag will go down. Leaf covered it up at the 5-yard line. And Leaf is limping as he gets up.
This is a dead ball foul, so no fumble. Just a matter of whether there was early movement. I think they're going to march the Cougars back here.
Before the snap, false start, offense, half the distance to the goal, still first down.
Cougars offensively have not done much right this evening.
One of the strengths of the 3 wide-out offense, the 3 receivers with the tight end and a single back set, is if you hit a pass, you have the defense spread out. You have a broken tackle, you have a big play, but Leaf's got to hit a few passes first.
Again, man coverage on both wideouts. Leaf finally with some time going deep. Broken up beautifully. What a play by Mel Miller, but did he have too much of the intended receiver?
That flag came in awfully late.
He was like a blanket all over his man.
And Ryan Leaf trying to buy time in the pocket, dangerously close to being dropped for a safety here. Just unloads the ball down the field on the post route. He's looking for Chad Carpenter. Good call. Very good call. Mel Miller, first down, with an arm over around the neck of the receiver.
And David, if he just doesn't put the hand on the shoulder, I think he makes the play anyway.
Well, Mel Miller played the ball perfectly except for the contact just before the ball arrived. Good call. Ryan Leaf operating first down.
Black spinning to the 30-yard line. Tony Parrish with the tackle. This could be the first down that Washington State has had in the game outside of penalties.
Impressive job of blocking up front. Scott Sanderson, potential All Pac-10 candidate at the left tackle spot, opening up a seam right up the middle. The key on that last play was the tackle by Tony Parrish in the secondary. Tony Parrish has quickly become one of the best free safeties on the West Coast, and a very sure tackler. If Michael Black can break that tackle, he's off to the races.
That was the longest play from scrimmage in the game for Washington State. They started this drive from their own 10-yard line. The line of scrimmage. Jason Chorak was right there. Big fella from Bashan, Washington. His dad was born in Croatia, left in 1962. And Jason very proud of his Serbian-Croatian heritage. As a matter of fact, he speaks both English and Serb-Croatian.
You talk to the defensive coordinators that have lined up offenses, actually the offensive coordinators that have lined up offenses against Chorak, and they always mention his name first. He's the guy you got to stop.
He's on the right side. And a fumble on the snap, and I believe Washington has it. The senior from Honolulu.
And this is just a case, I believe, of Ryan Leaf backing out, a count too early. They blow the center quarterback exchange. Very sloppy game by the Cougars so far. That ball might not have come up. I cannot lay the blame on Ryan Leaf there because the ball did not look like it came up. And watch the reaction by Ink Aliaga. Coming into the season, a pre-season All-America. He's all over that fumble, covering the football on the turf.
They go Corey Dillon's way, and he threw the pass to 25. Very close to a first down. A 100-yard rushing game again for Corey Dillon. They're just pounding away at that Cougars middle, and they've got a very good middle with Leon Bender and Gary Holmes. But Corey, with 113 yards rushing today, his 6th straight over 100, and that is almost the time of the season when they started him after the injury to Rashawn Sheehy. Dillon, first down, Dillon to the 1. Leon Bender is injured near the 23-yard line. Corey Dillon sprints 19 yards to the 1-yard line.
And as a defense, when you watch your offense go on the field time and time again and not produce yards, it becomes frustrating. And sometimes letdowns can occur. Washington State not playing the run very tough up the middle. Corey Dillon exposes and exploits the weakness up the middle. And he's just a half yard from scoring on this play. Bender, the tackle, coming inside. He may have hurt his elbow, maybe his shoulder on that play.
You know, he had that ankle sprain that he suffered in the Stanford game. Didn't practice much this week, but they're really looking at his upper body.
They caught the Cougars straight up the middle. Great execution by the offensive line once again for Washington. They are so good at center and guard. Bob Sapp, Olin Kreutz, Benji Olson, who has already been named first-team All-American by Football News.
And they have a running back who gets right behind him. Scott Linehan told us yesterday he's either going to be embedded in your back or you're by your side. He really follows his blocks very well.
There's another angle. Ooh,
you see how he got
knee injury there. Maybe a knee or an ankle problem. It might be that right knee or that right ankle. Bender had no indication that was coming from the outside. He's had a great year for Washington State. The front four has been so effective. 6.5 sacks.
Arizona State is punishing Arizona and looks to go to the Rose Bowl unbeaten and probably the #3 team in the nation after Ohio State lost. UCLA was down 17 in the fourth, and they win in 2 overtimes over the Trojans. Stanford has beaten Cal 42-21, so Cal's bid for a bowl game this year looks to have evaporated, and Stanford might be going bowling. And Oregon, hey, they're hoping as well after a nice finish.
It looks like Stanford may be headed to the Sun Bowl. In fact, I would be surprised if the Cardinal is not headed to the Sun Bowl. What a turnaround by Tyrone Willingham and his troops. 4 or 5 weeks ago, that Stanford outfit was left for dead, and they have finished with a bang this season.
They will finish 3rd in the Pac-10 with a record of 5-3. 6-5 overall. I believe that is past the neutral zone. James Darling. I think he knew #4 was going to get the football.
James Darling just a touch overzealous, I'd say. Up and over the top.
Offside defense. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Well, you might as well go for it in this territory. It's not like they can give you 5 yards into the end zone.
That's a good point. That's actually not a bad play by James Darling. Certainly not as costly as the 4 offsides penalties charged against the Cougars earlier in this ball game.
Dillon will try and move within 1 of Marcus Allen and O.J. Simpson for 21 rushing touchdowns in the season. There's the handoff. He pushes. Is he in? Yes, he is. Touchdown, Corey Dillon.
Talk about mission impossible. 1st and goal from the half-yard line, trying to stop Corey Dillon at 225 pounds.
They call him the Mule, and he bulled his way in that time. John Wales for the point after. It is up. It is good. And Washington with a 17-0 lead on their arch rivals, Washington State. Corey Dillon with 22 overall touchdowns this year, 21 on the ground.
What I like so much about Corey Dillon, he keeps that consistent demeanor. You can see it in his eyes, the focus. Doesn't ever get too excited. No matter whether it's a 1-yard run or a 50-yard run, he comes to the game with a business-like attitude. And Washington so far taking care of business, up 17 early in the second half.
Let's go down to the field and Larry Burnett.
Well, Steve, with all the problems the Cougars offense has had recently, you'd expect maybe they'd be down a little bit, especially with that last drive when they fumbled the ball a couple of times. But their offensive line coach, Lawrence Livingston, just told his guys, hey, the ball slipped. We're doing a good job. We're breaking some room for Michael Black. We're getting good protection for Ryan Leaf. They like what they're doing. They think they can get themselves right back in this football game.
But they've had 2 special team plays that have really hurt them, where they have not capitalized on mistakes by Washington, and the Huskies laid the ball on the carpet one time, and they could not score. Well, they just gave one to the Huskies, and the Huskies only took it 30 yards.
If I'm Ryan Leaf, I get my headgear snapped on tight because the pass rush is coming. I can assure you that. Washington up 17 points. They're going to be sending a lot of people at Ryan Leaf.
Very short kick again. Sean Timms. He's down at the 24-yard line, exactly where he caught the football. Lester Towns on the coverage. And here comes Ryan Leaf. Corey Dillon with 131 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Since he moved into the starting lineup, he has averaged not only 165 yards rushing per game, but also 3 touchdowns per game.
We mentioned he's leading the country in scoring. Here's a look at him.
Saying hi to his mom, who, yes, she does, live in Seattle, Washington. High school, and he still lives with his mom. Michael Black for the short gain.
And you have to admire Mike Price's Stick-to-itiveness, as I might call it, the commitment to the running game, but he's going to have to put the ball up, and he knows it. He's going to have to mix in a couple running plays to keep the Huskies somewhat honest up front. We're going to see quite a few attempts here in the second half by Ryan Leach.
Huskies showing a four-man front, but they've got Ingaliaga in that gap. Leap! Down he goes. Jason Chorak with another sack. He forced the fumble, and David Ritchie may have recovered. Yes, he did.
Ryan Leaf never saw it coming, and he should. He's got to pick up the pressure. He's focused on the left side. The hit by Chorak, and Ritchie makes the recovery. The ball in midair is picked off by Ritchie. Watch Chorak. Just a relentless pass rush, lays his helmet right on the football, and Ritchie, a heads-up play to snatch that football out of midair.
Nice job, baby. Nice job.
He's real excited. Apple Cup game, big turnover.
Last year, he didn't play much in the Apple Cup game. He hurt his neck, but he's fully recovered. Eward going for the home run on first down. Corey Dillon has it knocked away. James Darling, the middle linebacker, with a pretty defensive play.
Number 33, James Darling.
Jason Chorak, 14.5 sacks this year. Leads the Pac-10. They've been putting him on the left side because the right side of the offensive line really is not the Cougar strength.
Brock Heward taking a shot down the middle to Corey Dillon, and that's a super job by James Darling at the last second, looking back for the football. Watch him play the ball with the left hand. That was a touchdown if Darling doesn't make the play.
They've got Terry Holloman in the game, the junior from Everett, Washington. That's an interesting story. Terry, his brother is Torrey Holloman, who is a reserve safety for Washington State. So you got a little civil war here. Brothers on each side, one on the east, one on the west.
That's a smart decision by Jim Lambright, his offensive coordinator Scott Linehan. You send Corey Dillon down the middle of the field. He has close to 30 carries in the game. Why not sub for him? Don't get him tired. Last week, after 16 carries in the first quarter against San Jose State, he was spent.
Play action. First down, 10-yard line. Fred Coleman.
Brock Heward to number 22, Fred Coleman.
We talked about Brock Heward, how mature he's been. He hasn't been disappointed that they've been averaging only about 15 attempts per game. And that's the benefit you get right there with a great running game. If you drop back to pass, or even better yet, if you come out on play action, you're usually going to be looking at some open receivers. Not a great throw by Brock Heward, but an easy throw. Fred Coleman takes advantage.
Washington already leading by 17. Dillon to the 5. Stopped there. James Darling, Dwayne Stewart making too many tackles in this game. Anytime your linebackers and your safeties are up in double figures in tackles, you're saying, uh-oh, our defense is on the field too long.
Washington State has done a good job this year up front. Their front four has accounted for 28 sacks coming into this game. And I think they've done a pretty good job against Corey Dillon. Even though Dillon's stacking up some numbers, it's the Washington State offense that has not gotten untracked in this Apple Cup game.
And they've turned the ball over twice in the second half. Dillon, touchdown! And he has tied the Pac-10 record for most rushing touchdowns in a season, tying Heisman Trophy winners O.J. Simpson and Marcus Allen.
You're seeing history on this play. Some great running backs in USC history. And Corey Dillon equals the mark. Look how calm he is. Heading over to the offensive line to congratulate them.
Point after extra touchdown is good, and Washington has a 24-0 lead. USC was always known for being the tailback U of the Pac-10. Well, Corey Dillon's changing that.
The Pacific 10 Conference. Its academic and athletic excellence are as great as the area it encompasses. Stretching from the state of Washington in the northwest to Arizona in the southwest. Unparalleled in athletic success, the Pac-10 has won more NCAA championships than any other conference. The 10 members have been providing the best in quality higher education for more than a century. The Pac-10, the Conference of Champions.
60 men and 3 rings. Think of what could happen, man. Only one can reign supreme.
It's WCW's World War III. Sunday, November 24th, live and only on pay-per-view.
Ring-rocking wrestling action. See it at home on pay-per-view.
Order WCW World War III and you'll automatically be entered for a chance to go see WCW Starrcade live December 29th. Listen to WJRR for details.
Hey, Fonz? Fonz?
Hey, this better be important.
Is it true that Happy Days is on Nick at Night?
Correctamundo.
It's a classic show, huh?
Fabamundo.
And it's on Nick at Night every weeknight?
Exactamundo.
Thanks, Fonz. You're the greatest.
Hey!
Watch Happy Days every weeknight only on Nick at Night, the home of classic TV.
All week with you. These days are on.
Look at that band member. He's got cookies on his drum set. He's enjoying this Washington 24-0 lead. Well, today's Power Bar Performer of the Week, Corey Dillon of Washington. 222 yards rushing in the first quarter alone against San Jose State. That is an NCAA record. It broke Andre Herrera's record of 214 set by Southern Illinois some 20 years ago. Corey Dillon with his 3rd rushing touchdown, his 22nd this year. And I mentioned the fact that USC was always tailback U, but when you consider Napoleon Kaufman and Greg Lewis, Rashawn Sheehy, and now Corey Dillon, here's a new tailback U in the Pac-10 Conference, and it's in Seattle. Washington State gets the football to the 32-yard line. Everything that Mike Price hoped would happen in the second half has not, as his offense has put the ball on the turf twice. And Washington has turned both fumbles into touchdowns.
7 minutes, 46 seconds to go in this game. Mike Price knows it's still not over. Now, this is a very important drive for Washington State. If they don't come up with a score on this drive, this game may be over.
Against this defense, I think you're right with Michael Black attempting the middle and gaining 2 yards. Jerry Jensen and Ink Aliaga on the tackle.
With the 2-point conversion in college football, Washington State still down only 3 scores. They got to get to work immediately. And they have the type of offense. Look at Aliaga's career. That's very impressive. And he's really been coming on the last 3 or 4 games. But Washington State is well equipped with their type of offense to come back.
They moved Jorak inside as a defensive tackle. Black trying the left side, gets back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 8 as David Ritchie makes the tackle.
I'm not sure why Mike Price is keeping the ball on the ground. He even put 2 backs in the game on that last play. There's no doubt if Washington State has any hopes.
Hey, David, you talked
about pick up a first down.
The advantages of a one-back offense. What are the disadvantages of a one-back offense?
Protecting the passer and also running the football when you need to. You give up an extra blocker when you only have 1 back in the back.
Where they're going shotgun now with 1 back and 4 wide out. Leads 3-step drop, and there's a flag. It must have had something to do with Sean McWashington, because Tony Parrish's coverage appeared to be clean on the receiver that he was covering.
This should be an automatic first down for Washington State. Maybe a hold, maybe pass interference. Washington State very lucky if they do pick up a first down here. Ryan Leaf had a man wide open on the out route and missed him. I have not been impressed with Leaf's accuracy in this game so far. Probably going to be a hold here defensively against Washington, which is an automatic first down.
Ryan Leaf came into this game.
Holding. Defense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Leaf came into this game with a sophomore year that's better than Drew Bledsoe's, better than Tim Rosenball's, better than Jack Thompson. But he has had one of those games that he would like to forget. He has not been able to give any points for his offense. And they're spreading everybody out, keeping one back in and Michael Black. Leaf going Chad Carpenter's way. The catch is made. First down at the 29-yard line.
Well, that's more like it. This is a beautiful ball by Ryan Leaf on the fade route. Watch how he gives his wide receiver room to fade out to the football. And Carpenter does a great job of sealing Miller off and then drifting outside just at the last second to make the catch. That's a perfect hookup between quarterback and wide receiver on the fade.
And the first catch of the game for the pride of Weiser, Idaho. They'll run Mike Black. He's to the 25 and put down from behind by Lester Towns to put a little half rope on him. Look at the Huskies changing their defenses on flashcards. They've got Vanna White out there all dressed up. No, that's not Vanna.
Turning the letters over there, huh, Steve? Hit. Now, I'm not sure that's the complete play call. That may be a play call within a play call defensively for Washington.
Black. Oh, he's a load to bring down now inside the 20 for the first down. Michael Black.
Washington sending their defensive calls in on play card placards there. Probably some indications on how they want to play the linebackers or their blitzes. Michael Black starting to get a little forward push in the running game. Absolutely critical for Washington State to come up with a touchdown on this drive.
Inside 6 minutes to play third quarter. Carpenter in single coverage on the right side. So too is a man on left, Chris Jackson. He'll run Black again. Big hole again. And Michael's inside the 10-yard line. John Fiala on the tackle.
And that's an impressive job by Washington State's offensive line. They're looking at a 9-man defensive front here, and still they find a way to get it blocked and to spring Michael Black into the secondary. I mean, the Huskies are just locking up man-to-man on the outside. I think Ryan Leaf should take a shot at another fade ball.
Well, Leaf and the Cougars have taken a timeout as Black gets him inside the 10-yard line. Will be second down and 4 yards to go.
That's good, solid running by Michael Black. He was a couple steps from breaking that into the end zone.
Great crowd here at Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington, despite all of the bad weather they had through the week, and snow is predicted later tonight. It was kind of interesting. Jim Lambright, who's the head coach for the University of Washington, he got up Tuesday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. He opened his drapes. He saw 6 inches of snow and looked to the heavens and said, "Thank you, God." And they went out and he said, "Don't anybody clear off the practice field." And Jim Lambright, he said, "Guys, we're going to practice on the snow at Husky Stadium." They did that. They had a little snowball fight between the coaches and the players, and they got all geared up for this cold weather, and they have played well.
It was snowing yesterday, and it really looked like it was going to snow snow some more today, but a break in the weather. Not quite the day that Jim Lambright expected in Pullman. The last two times the Huskies have come up to Pullman in 1992 and 1994. Very snowy days, and the Huskies got hit with a couple big defeats in those ball games.
Yeah, that 92 game was Drew Bledsoe in that blizzard. Washington State got all fired up. First 8 drives, whew, this is their best drive of the day, no question, but they still have not scored.
Still over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Black and someone moved too quickly.
Inexcusable.
Michael Black carried the ball, flag on the play.
Brock Heward
trying to stay warm on that sideline. Temperatures now dropping inside the high 20s.
That's inexcusable for an offense to come out of a timeout
before the snap. False start. Offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. And it's still second down.
Washington State comes out of a timeout. They have second and short. They should have everything ironed out. And sloppy execution at the line of scrimmage turns it into a second and long. Those are the types of mistakes you can't make against a team that's ranked number 12 in the country.
Chris Jackson goes wide right. Chad Carpenter goes wide left. Both receivers will be in simple man coverage by the defensive backs. Leaf going corner. Carpenter incomplete. And Chad will complain, thinking he was interfered with as he came back towards that football.
Certainly very physical coverage there by Jermaine Smith. Watch the fake to the post and then back outside on the corner route. The ball's delivered back over his head, though. Once again, Ryan Leaf.
There was a shot, though, with the ball in the air, David.
There was some contact there. That might have been pass interference, but the ball was thrown so poorly that, you know, it's tough to give the call to the offense there when Ryan Leaf misfires. That ball should have been thrown to the front cone of the end zone. Instead, it was thrown 6 yards deep.
Washington, you can tell, has shut him down. Only 26 yards through the air. Blitz on. Carpenter! I think he's got the first down. You don't think so, huh? They needed to get to the 7-yard line.
He might be just a little bit short. And Leaf starting to come up with some plays that he didn't make in the first half. He faced some pressure on that play. Did a good job of getting rid of the ball quickly. Carpenter disappointed. Watch the quick release with Fiala coming right up the gut. And Carpenter, instead of staying north and south, moving vertically, he cuts back to the left, and that may have cost him the first down. It did.
Well, you picked that up right away. No, he didn't get the first down. You are correct, sir.
But Carpenter, after the catch there, if he just keeps moving straight down the field, I think he has a better chance to pick up the first down. Carpenter, a very savvy guy. Great receiver for Washington State over the last 3 years.
And he was the best quarterback in all of Ohio in high school.
Came into the game with over 100 career catches.
Will Leaf sneak it? He goes 6'5", 235 pounds. No, they're going to give it to the second back through. And I believe Dewan Gilmore will get the first down.
Number 37, Dewan Gilmore.
When you talk to NFL scouts up and down the West Coast, they say, hey, Tarek Glenn's a good tackle down at Cal. Juan Roque, certainly a fine player at Arizona State, but Scott Sanderson, the left tackle for Washington State, is big and athletic. And on the biggest play of the game, Washington State runs right over Sanderson to pick up the first down.
First and goal from the 6. Michael Black. No, forget it. Nigel Burton was there. Jason Chorak was there. And so is John Fiala. And David Ritchie.
And I think Ryan Leaf is going to have to make a play here. He's going to have to make a play if the Cougars are going to get into the end zone.
Well, he made some pretty good plays against Washington last year in that 33-30 loss. He threw for 291 yards and a touchdown, and he also ran into.
Look for a fade here on the outside.
6-yard line. Chris Jackson, a junior from Santa Ana High School, played his high school football. Santa Ana, California, played his high school football in a great modern day program.
You have to hand it to these young cornerbacks for Washington. Mel Miller, Jermaine Smith, who was on coverage in the last play. They play with some audacity. They're brash, they're bold, they come up in your face. And very good over the course of this ball game.
I think their corners are just sensational. Leaf pumps, buys himself some time. It is broken up. Mel Miller. You know, when you take a look at what Washington had defensively, they had 2 question marks at the beginning of the season, and they were at the corners. There's one of them, Mel Miller. They're both redshirt freshmen. They have grown up enormously this year.
And all year long, defensive coordinators have tried to go after their cornerbacks, but the cornerbacks have not wilted. Ryan Leaf with a lot of time. Washington really only with 3 players rushing the passer on that play. Leaf could have bought some more time. He really forced the ball into the back of the end zone.
And the Cougars down 24, going for the 3, and they get it. Washington State had scored in their last 163 straight Pac-10 games, the longest in the Pac-10 during that span. They will make it 164 because of that 3-pointer. It's a start, but is it enough?
If your idea of freedom involves sliding down a snow-covered mountain with wild abandon, call Southwest Airlines. We fly to great ski places in New Mexico, Nevada, and Utah. Packages include round-trip airfare, 2 nights hotel accommodations, rental car or transfers, and lift tickets. But not lessons. Fun-packed vacations from Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom.
A truck's life is filled with slings and arrows, including the inevitable flying stones and unmanned shopping carts. So we designed the all-new Dodge Dakota with software that optimizes dent resistance. Life on the road may be a battle, but Dakota has superior armor. The new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises.
A flower is perfect in every way. You, however, could use some work. The Soloflex Muscle Machine. 32 real weightlifting exercises with none of the hassles of free weights. Call now for a free brochure and video.
You talked about Mike Price putting that videotape together this week to boost Ryan Leaf's confidence. Well, he is talking with him on the sideline after Leaf engineered a nice drive, but got him 3 instead of 7.
Mike Price coaches the quarterbacks, unusual for a head coach, and he's a mastermind. He's had Bledsoe and Rosenbach. Done a great job with Ryan Leaf. Sometimes you chew on a quarterback, sometimes you give him encouragement, and right now Mike Price looks like he's given a lot of encouragement to Leaf on the sideline.
3.5 minutes left. Jarzinga, courageous fellow, takes it again past the 30, not near the 40-yard line. He's a tough little kid, isn't he?
You talk about a thrill seeker. I mean, he's been taking punts and kickoffs with just yards to spare. People breathing hot air down his neck. He's made some big plays in this Apple Cup game.
He really has. I can see his nickname ought to be 82nd Airborne. I'll bet that's what he does. He jumps out of airplanes after he graduates. A 61-yard drive. The Cougar fans, they still think they're in it. Down 21 with 3:24 left in the 3rd period. Dillon, just a couple. He now has 142 yards rushing and the 3 scores today. And Brandon Moore takes it down. Arizona State. They're in the third, and it looks like they'll go to Pasadena with an unbeaten record and likely to move up to 3 after Ohio State's loss today. UCLA beats USC in 2 overtimes. Stanford by California. And Oregon wins over Oregon State 49-13. Here is Washington 24. Washington State 3. Just 2 to the 44. Dorian Booz in the tackle.
Dorian Booz, number 90, made the tackle.
You're really playing a game of Russian roulette on the outside in the secondary. Washington State having to commit so many defenders to counter that Washington Husky running game, and as a result, you're playing man-to-man coverage, play after play. Moore and Colo, Shad, Hinchin on the outsides. They've done a pretty good job over the course of this game, playing up tight on Pathon and Coleman.
Ball Club has been very good today on 3rd down. They sent 3 wide right, 1 left. Heward will dump it off to his tight end. They will not get the first down this time. Read beautifully by strong safety Dwayne Stewart.
Number 84, Jeremy.
Brad Lawson also helping out the defensive tackle who came in to replace the injured Leon Bender.
Just a heroic effort by Stewart to break through. He was one of the only defenders left to play that screen pass. He cut through and made a super open field tackle.
Sarshar will punt to Timms, who stands in his own 21. Himself, but he'll lose a good 10 yards on the play. Just a 33-yard punt by Sarshar, but he got help by the guy Tim's trying to return.
Boy, when you make a big mistake, you got to get back and cover it up. Even though Timms drops the punt, he muffs the punt there. A great job of getting back and knocking that ball out of bounds. Timms didn't try to recover the football. He just wanted to make sure
he lost it in the moon, David.
That his movement forced that ball out of bounds. Pretty night in Coleman. It's clear. It was somewhat clear.
Jason Chorak all over it. Chris Campbell, the defensive end, was there as well. Hey, Larry Burnett, are you enjoying this one after your wonderful weekend in Eugene last week?
You know, it's actually getting colder down here, if you can believe that. Keep an eye on the Cougars. On their last drive, they had a lot of success running to the weak side. They'd like to run the sweep to the strong side. They've also been trying to catch Washington off guard with some quick snaps, but the Cougar offensive linemen can't hear the call, and they've been jumping off sides. They'd like to try it some more.
The Huskies really with just a brilliant defensive game. Leaf, all kinds of time here. Chris Jackson, incomplete. Mel Miller again, what a play. David, I really think when you start a defense, you've got to have great corners to start with.
Well, you have to have great corners, especially when you play an 8-man defensive front, because you're going to leave them on an island so many times. They're called on to play man-to-man defense. Let's see if Mel Miller times this up properly. That should have been pass interference. Mel Miller went through the back of Chad Carpenter's head before the ball arrived. Clearly should have been pass interference. But you have to respect Jermaine Smith and Miller. They play an aggressive brand of ball on the outside.
Incomplete. Looking for Sean Timms. And it will be 4th down. They've got to punt it away again. Chris Campbell was in the backfield again. Leaf has been pinched by those DBs.
And he's faced some pressure. Now, Leaf is going to be around for a long time. He's going to move on. He's going to play pro football. Perfect size, great build. I just like to see him improve his fundamentals a little bit and also get that accuracy together.
Yeah, you're right. 5 of 20 tonight for just 34 yards. There's Jarsinka. Jarsinka. This guy is something. He is really something.
I'm going to call him the thrill seeker from now on. With that hair, he doesn't make it in the pros.
I'm telling you,
he has a future on Baywatch.
He's the Yanni of college football.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? You're out! Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1, so don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Steve Young for Power Bar.
If you wanted to create a source of energy that was as healthy, nutritious, and low in fat as this Power Bar energy bar, here's what you'd have to do. Start with real fruit and other natural sweeteners. Add grains for complex carbs. Put in a whole bunch of important vitamins and minerals, and top it off with a splash of protein. Then you have the energy top athletes and active people rely on to perform at their best. Personally, I think you'd be better off buying a Power Bar.
I need somebody help, not just anybody help. You know I need someone help.
Every day, millions of customers count on GTE people. GTE quality. GTE reliability. So if you think telecommunications have only complicated your life, there's one company you can count on for help.
Won't you please help me?
GTE.
Help me.
Amazing.
These are the biggest feet in pro basketball. Shoe size 21. If you think the shoes are hard to fill, imagine what it takes to fill the rest of him. Big boy. Well, new cheese tortellini from Chunky foots the bill. It's loaded with giant ring-shaped pasta stuffed with cheese, plus huge chunks of chicken and tons of vegetables. So if you've got a giant appetite to feed, Chunky cheese tortellini scores with the big boys. Satisfied? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought so. Campbell's Chunky, soup that eats like a meal.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? You're out! Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1, so don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
The Internet. Billions of miles of cable connecting millions of people, including some of the best and brightest minds in the country, the students and alumni of the Pac-10 universities. To advertise your full-time, part-time, or internship opportunity, contact your Pac-10 Career Center or call JobTrack online. 1-800-999-TRACK. Get on your feet. Get up and make it happen. Get on your feet, yeah, yeah. Stand up and take some action. Get on your feet.
I hate dings in the door. I have this one terrible one. Some fool comes along out of the grocery store and just bangs right in the side. And then, of course, he's looking around. Nobody else can see him but me. He's banged, and I have this huge dent. But my owner can't always get to him, you know, right away to get him fixed. But I think she tries to make up for it. She gives me Chevron Supreme with Techron because I'm a car designed for high-octane gas.
No premium outperforms Chevron Supreme with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Washington State University and the Pac-10 Conference and is intended solely for the non-commercial use of our audience and may not be rebroadcast in any form without the express written consent of Washington State University and the Pac-10 Conference. John Wales will attempt the field goal from 37 yards out. He's the senior from Kent, Washington. He's got the distance, and he just misses off to the side. It is no good. It stays 24-3. So it's up for Ryan Leaf and Corey Dillon. He may have played his last of the game. I mean, his ball club's up by 3 touchdowns. He's got his 3 scores.
This game is not over yet. 10:59 to go. Washington State down 3 scores. They got to get to work immediately. And I think Mike Price has to go with the no-huddle offense starting right now. Clock offense doesn't always begin with 2 minutes to go in the game. It begins when you have to start battling the clock. Washington State needs to lengthen this game.
Well, they're going double tight end now. We'll go play action pass. Leaf loses the football as he tried to throw it deep. I mean, it just slipped out of his hands.
Ryan Leaf was looking for it all down the field. He had 2 receivers deep on the streak. A nice play action fake. And the ball just slips out of his hand before he gets that arm moving forward. Heads up play to cover it in the backfield, but Ryan Leaf had a great shot down the right side on the streak. And he just lets go of the football.
This is the kid from Great Falls, Montana, who says he loves to play in the cold weather. He has not played well tonight. Wide open Sean Timms at the 35-yard line, and again Leaf could not find him, and he is furious with himself in the back of the end zone.
The Leaf should be furious with himself on that play. He had Timms wide open. A bust in the defensive secondary by Washington. Nobody covering Timms. And granted, Leaf had some pressure in the pocket, but you just have to put a little air under that throw and make sure you don't overthrow him. Whatever you do, don't overthrow the receiver, even if he has to slow down to make the catch.
Now Washington State spreads everybody out. 5 wide receivers, 3 left, 2 right. Sean Timms, he's got it. First down, Washington State. 48 yards, the longest throw by Ryan Leaf of the day. And that almost doubles his passing total for the evening.
On a 3rd and 19, Washington State goes with the hitch and go. A great pump fake by Leaf there. And the cornerback just bites on the arm fake.
Well, they were not picking on those talented cornerbacks, Mel Miller or Jermaine Smith. That was the slot man, Sean Timms, who was being covered by a linebacker. It's Black. He's not getting much on the ground. Michael very fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage, then gains 3 more to the 40-yard line, where he is brought down by Ink Aliaga.
My question is, why didn't they go to the pump and go a little bit earlier? Those cornerbacks have been playing aggressively all game long. They've been playing snug right up on Timms and McWashington, Carpenter. I think Leaf needs to take some more cracks down the field, penalize Washington for playing this gambling style of defense in the secondary.
With a rushing 4. They've got another one open. This time it's Kevin McKenzie with the catch, and he will go to the 3-yard line.
Washington defense has plenty of testosterone. They are really playing a brash type of defense on the outside. A play after getting hurt big on the Timms reception. Washington going right back to man-to-man defense, and Leaf stings them again. This time McKenzie. McKenzie just a step from getting into the end zone. And I got a message for the Huskies. If the Cougars can punch it into the end zone here, we have a ball game.
Well, Jerry Jensen, one of their top linebackers, is out of the game now. And they have the 4 very best linebackers in this conference.
The Huskies have done a great job defensively so far tonight. Well, they better be careful. They're giving up some big plays all of a sudden in the passing game.
Igaika Malloy comes in the game for Washington. And on a bootleg, racing in untouched is Ryan Leaf. Boy, did he make him bite.
And a great play call by Price Price, in conjunction with his offensive coordinator, John McDonnell. The fake into the line. Nobody knew Ryan Leaf had the ball.
It is 24-10. 24-9. They're trying to make it 10 with the point after touchdown by Tony Truant. And Tony has it good. And Washington State is within 14 with 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Well, Leaf with a brilliant drive that started miserably with a pass that slipped through his hand and then missing a wide open receiver. He comes back and scores the touchdown.
Talked to John McDonnell, the offensive coordinator, and he said, oh, John, don't forget about faking the off tackle play and having Leaf keep it in a short yard situation. We've got to get to that play. Sure enough, it's a key play here in the fourth quarter. And with 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go, the Cougars are only down by 2 touchdowns.
Well, Truant blasts this one through the end zone, so the Huskies will have it at their own 20-yard line. Let's go down on the field and Larry.
All right, the scoreboard's still looking good for Washington, but the sideline not looking too good at all. Jerry Jensen came off the field a while ago. They're working on his ankle. And Corey Dillon is right behind us. He has a cramp in his right calf, may have cramps in both calves. They've put a little wrap on the right calf. He's been trying to run it off. We'll see when they get the ball if he's going to get back in the game. Right now, it doesn't look like he is.
And they will have Terry Holloman in the game for the resting Corey Dillon. Checking off. Washington State showing a 4-man front, so they give it to Holloman, and he busts for 4, 5, maybe even 6 yards. He's a tough kid to bring down. He had 146 yards rushing last week against San Jose State when 3 Husky backs ran for over 100 yards.
The Washington State Cougars need the ball back right now. They need a 3-and-out. And you'd think with Corey Dillon on the bench, it would be advantage Cougars, but Holloman coming in and ripping off a 7-yard run on first down.
42 yards rushing. By the Cougars. And this time, James Darling stuffs Holloman. Boy, I like him. He's a zoology major, wants to be a dentist, also wants to spend some time in the NFL, and as Coach Mike Price says, he's going to knock teeth out on Sunday and put them back in on Monday.
Darling's had to. There's some movement up front. Once again, Hewer doing a great job at quarterback on the cadence, but Darling's had some well-documented problems off the field. Mike Price has assured us that he's gotten those problems straightened out, and he's one of the new breed of linebackers that moves on to the NFL. He can run and he can hit.
6'1", 240. Third down. They're going back to Holloman. It's not there. The Cougars have held.
Huge play for Washington State. Second and short for the Huskies. 2 run plays, and they're denied by the Cougars. Washington State's going to get the ball back with over 6.5 minutes to go in this game. Plenty of time for Ryan Leaf to bring his team back.
Sarshar has not had a punt block this year. He's almost 7 yards better than his average. High snap. He gets it off in time. It is not a particularly great punt, but it takes a good bounce inside the 40-yard line. Well, Washington trying to hold off their rival Cougars. They have a 14-point lead with 6.5 to play. Has a 7-point lead. They'll be receiving the football on the kickoff. David, do you think Mike Price will go for an onside kick with 3:46 left?
Absolutely not. 100% no. 3:46 to go. Washington State has 2 timeouts. If you try an onside kick and you don't recover it, the Huskies are only 10 yards away from a field goal. That puts them up by 10 points, and the game's out of reach. The way Washington State's been playing on defense here, especially in the fourth quarter, kick it deep.
Well, they have 9 of their 11 up expecting an onside kick.
I'll be shocked.
And Truant watched the ball. You know, it looked like they were going to kick it deep because those guys are really coming after him, and they weren't going in one location.
I'm almost expecting to hear the Jeopardy song coming up here. The suspense continues. Now, I'll be flat out shocked if Washington State tries an onside kick here.
There's Jarzinka, only man back. Truant hammers it. And it is Mike Reed who's the other man along with Jarzinka who lets it go.
It's amazing how much of a chess game football can be. I'm a little bit surprised that Lambright put the hands team in there, and Lambright will probably chew into me during the off week coming up, but I think it's only logical for Washington State to kick the ball deep. The defense has had a lot of success in the fourth quarter. Actually, they just corrected on the scoreboard one timeout.
Look who's back in. Corey Dillon, the best back in the Pac-10 conference. He has had that calf on his right leg massaged out, and he wants to play. He goes off tackle left. No. 1 yard gain.
And this is why the coaches get paid the big dollars. There's going to be an interesting play call coming up. Dillon, just a little move to the left side on the isolation play. Not much running room. Now, this is going to be a chess game.
He can't go. 38 carries in this game for 155 yards, and now they must pull their best running back. Can you depend on a backup like Mike Reed, who only has 95 yards rushing?
Brock Heward's going to have to hit a pass either on second or third down.
And Heward might be checking off. Will he go to his running back? Probably not. He's just brought up Reed as a blocking back. They run the fade. Python! And there's a flag down.
I'm surprised the referee didn't throw a flag earlier in the backfield. There was some movement. The Husky running back did not get set up. I believe that was Kehoe.
Before the snap, delay game on the offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still second down.
Heward just didn't get the play off. That was Mike Reed, the fullback in the backfield for the Huskies. He wasn't even set up on the snap of the football. The Huskies having some problems with the crowd noise here in Pullman.
Well, it is up to Brock Heward now, the son of a football coach and a great one at Puyallup High School, south of Seattle.
He's going to go back to a fade route. I'm almost sure of it. He's going to throw that deep ball outside, either on this down or next down.
Safety blitz. Incomplete at midfield. Morincola with a great breakup. Good call, David.
And I won't be surprised if they go right back to that fade. The reason why you call the fade route is you get man-to-man outside and it's a safe throw. You don't risk the turnover. Also, Brock Heward throws the fade ball exceptionally well. Heward threw a good ball on that play, but the coverage breaks up the potential reception. Heward not a happy man.
7 of 18 now through the air and only 65 yards passing in this game. Play action with time. Incomplete. Henderson was there, but it went right into the numbers of Jerome Python, their most sure-handed receiver.
That was a misplay on the ball by the defensive backfield. Python ended up having a great shot to bring that ball down on the post route.
Jerry Jensen's back in, snapping. He's the man playing with the injured ankle. Sarshar standing at his 3. It's a low snap. He gets it off. Not a good kick. Fair catch by Timms at the 41. Can you believe this? Down 24 points State has a chance to tie this game up or even take the lead. 2.5 left. I mean, we thought they were absolutely going to get blown out of this stadium. Mike Price is even stunned.
Goes right back to the crossing route. Watch the close mesh here between Timms and Carpenter underneath. And just like Timms on the scoring play in the last possession, Carpenter a great job of working downfield. There's a face mask too out of bounds there that the referees missed. The officials missed that on the sideline. Could have been an extra 5 yards for the Cougars.
From the 22-yard line. Oh, has the momentum swung. Is throwing like the man people say he resembles Drew Bledsoe of the Patriots.
Ryan Leaf was off balance. He was out of sync for 3 quarters. He looked below average. But he has a zest for the game of football, and right now he is on. He is throwing the ball accurately. He's making good decisions with the football. I'm really proud of him the way he's come back in this game.
And he has Washington on their heels. Look at this fourth quarter for Washington State. Football, pick it up, and then lunge forward for maybe a few inches. But that's all. It'll be 3rd down, about 2 yards to go. Suki Wiggs was the man to put the stop to Ryan Leaf.
That was a big play and a big miscue. Washington State has muffed 3 quarterback center exchanges so far tonight. They lost possession on one of them, gave up the ball on a turnover, and now Leaf faces a big 3rd down.
They'll give it to Michael Black, and Black is through to the 10-yard line, and he's got the 1st down. You know, they're running when you expect them to pass. They're passing when sometimes you think they're going to run, and they've got a great flow going now here in the 4th quarter.
Now give some credit to Mike Price and John McDonnell. That's a great play call on 3rd down and 2 to go to Michael Black. A lot of confidence in your offensive line and your running back, and Black gets the job done.
1st and goal from the 10-yard line. Black again to the 5. He will score, but there is a flag down.
I think that's going to be a personal foul call against Jason Chorak of the Huskies. This touchdown will stand, and pending a PAT, this game is tied up.
Another indication is the penalty is against the Huskies.
They will tack that penalty on the kickoff, though. Can you believe this? The Cougars were dead. They were in the South Palouse Fork down the street. And they have come back from 24-0, down 24-3 in the 4th quarter. And they are now within 1 point of tying this game. And Leaf took a major shot from Jason Chorak.
That was a cheap shot by Chorak. That was uncalled for. It was clearly a handoff. And more importantly, will Leaf be ready to go if this game heads into overtime?
He's also their holder.
The touchdown is good. Personal foul on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, and it'll be assessed on the kickoff.
Mike Price, I mean, his heart must have sank when he saw that flag in the backfield on the touchdown. Personal foul call, though. Now a big point after.
game at 24. 1:18 left.
It was a gutsy call on 3rd and short to go to Michael Black, and then 1st and goal from the 10. Another great play call. And how about Michael Black? The cutback ability on a slick surface makes the difference. Leaf, just a straight handoff to Black, off tackle play, but Black feels the seam to the right side. And he cuts back, and he finds daylight. And he ties the game up.
Here's the penalty. Jason Chorak, after handing, Leaf had given up the football a good 2 seconds prior.
I think Chorak, if Chorak knows that he doesn't have the football, Chorak should probably get thrown out of the game on that. I'm not quite sure whether Chorak knew he still had the ball or not, because Ryan Leaf was carrying out the fake.
This is a bigger comeback than UCLA today against USC. They went to overtime where the Bruins beat the Trojans. What a remarkable comeback in the cold at Pullman. Well, Leaf told everybody, I'm a cold weather guy. I'm from Great Falls, Montana, and maybe he just needed to chill up a little bit. Most guys need to heat up. Maybe he needed to chill down.
Well, some of our viewers may be wondering why Washington State goes with the point after. There's a new rule in town in the NCAA this year, and that is overtime. And if this game ends up tied at 24, each team will get a possession from the 25-yard line. And the first team to outscore the other after each team has had a possession in overtime wins the football game. If it's tied after the first overtime period, you head on to the next.
If you're Mike Price, do you just blast it through the end zone, or do you hang it up?
Well, ordinarily this is a good spot for an onside kick, but I don't think you can do it. You can't give the Huskies a short field to play for the field goal. I think you kick this out of the back of the end zone.
Look at this guy off to the right. It's 25 degrees out. His mom's watching the game tonight, and she's got the vitamin C in the mail. They're insane, but they've got reason to be insane the way their Cougars have come back with 21 points in the 4th quarter to tie this game at 24.
And what do you do if you're Scott Linehan calling the plays for the University of Washington, a minute 18 to go? If you put the ball in the air, incomplete passes stop the clock. You may give Washington State a chance to win this game in regulation if you put the ball in the air. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Washington keep the ball on the ground, at least for the first play or two. See if maybe Dylan can break a run.
No, remember,
Dylan's on the talk too soon. Dylan's not coming out. Reed's in the game at tailback.
He's their blocking back.
Looks like they are going to put the ball in.
Brock Heward scrambling to the 30. He has the first down. Derek Henderson stops him, and the clock stops at 1:11.
Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator for Washington, showing me a little bravado here. It's pretty clear the Huskies are going to play for the win in regulation.
You remember what happened last year? A tie game at 30. Washington marched down the field where John Wales hit the field goal with a minute left in the game to win it 33-30 in Seattle.
Washington has
21-yard field goal. I'm sorry, David, go ahead.
Washington has 2 timeouts left. Brock Heward's going to try to work the sidelines. If he hits receivers towards the middle of the field, he wants to do it beyond the first down markers. Remember, the clock stops in college football on a first down. He wants to be secure with the football. The Huskies cannot give up a turnover on their end, or this game could be over quickly.
2nd and 4. 58 seconds left. Reed on the delay. They'll chase him down, and he will not get the first down. He needed to get to the 40, and they push him out of bounds near the 39. There's John Wales. Remember, he is not a field goal artist like the great Cougar Jason Hansen, who hit one from 62. Wales has not gone past 43 this year.
Or like some of the great kickers in the history of Husky football, Chuck Nelson, Jeff Jager. He won the game in the Apple Cup last year in Seattle. A minute 2 to go. Hit a 23-yarder for a 33-30 win. 3rd and 1.
He's got the first down. James Darling stuffed him back. The clock will show 44 when Washington makes their next snap.
Washington asking for a timeout. I don't like that. The Huskies have just picked up a first down. The clock stops on a first down. Why use a timeout in that situation with 44 seconds to go?
Yeah, you could get that little pass over the middle.
I like saving both timeouts because the clock stops. As a quarterback in college football on a clock drive, if you get a first down, you have time to get your team up to the line of scrimmage, get everybody set, and then the referee places the ball down. He has to have time to step back and get in the backfield and get in position himself. That gives you plenty of time to get the play off, and you only waste a second or two. And Steve, it's only a matter of time before Brock Heward takes a crack down the field on that fade route. He throws it so well, he's going to try to hit a fade pass down the field or maybe a post route because it's safe. I don't think you'll see Brock Heward trying to throw the ball underneath or into traffic over the middle. He wants to make sure that he can see the danger, he can see the relationships between his receivers and the defensive backs, and usually that takes place when you're throwing the deep balls or the balls down the field to the outside.
Well, he has his speed guys in the field in Jerome Pathon and Fred Coleman, but Dave Janoski has not played in the second half. They've gone with Joe Jarzinga. Pathon in single coverage. Shad Hinchin is on him. On Coleman, and now a flag goes down.
Early movement on the left side against the Huskies. This will be a procedure call against Washington.
Appeared to be the tight end Jeremy Brigham.
Before the snap, full start, offense, 5 yards from the previous spot, still first down.
Early movement on the left side. That was the tight end Brigham, the backup tight end Brigham for Washington. Not that big a penalty. It moves them back 5 yards, but the clock stops. Heward, regardless, has to hit a couple plays down the field in the passing game.
They've got a big play guy in the game in Gerald Harris. He had a 67-yard touchdown against Arizona State in a big comeback. We'll go with the fade, and it is to Pathon. They've got a first down inside the 30. 37 yards in the first down, and Washington.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out Heward's going to be throwing the fade routes. They're safe routes. He can see his receiver. He can see the danger with the defensive back, and he throws the fade route as well as most quarterbacks in college football. Perfect ball. Great job by Pathon to make sure he comes down with the catch.
And they are in John Wales' range. They will run the fullback Mike Reed to the 25 to the 24-yard line. Wales, remember, was the guy who beat them last year with the game tied at 30. With 1 minute left in the game, he hit a 21-yard field goal.
Right now it would be about a 41-yarder. Remember, Wales is only 1 for 4 over the course of the 96 season from 40 yards and beyond.
Well, they called the timeout with 8 seconds remaining. And they will bring on John Wales to go for the field goal, I would imagine, rather than take another chance going for the end zone and then perhaps suffering a sack or an interception. Maybe they will go take one last shot at the end zone. It would be about a 40, maybe even 41-yard field goal for John Wales. And here he comes. The wind is in his face, but only at 5 miles an hour.
And certainly it's within Wales' range. The question is whether he has the accuracy. As I just mentioned, only hitting 25% of his attempts over the course of the season.
By himself.
That's what kickers do. They like to be left alone in these situations.
I mean, there's not much that the coach can tell him now.
This might be a Cotton Bowl berth riding on the foot of John Wales. And remember, if Wales misses this, we're headed to overtime.
And Jerry Jensen is in the game. Remember, he sprained his ankle. He is their snapper. Shane Courtney will hold.
Wales won the Apple Cup last year.
That was from 20 yards closer. Washington State is going to freeze him with a timeout.
They call that putting the kicker on ice.
You know, Don James told us about one of his great memories of this matchup. 1975, it was Don James' first year, and Jim Sweeney was the coach for Washington State. And he said, we were absolutely getting killed. And on 4th down, they went for it. It was intercepted in return for a touchdown. And later, Warren Moon hit Spider Gaines for a big score, and we unbelievably won that game. And tonight, he's almost seen a payback, a revenge, as Mike Price's team has fought back from 21 down in the 4th quarter when they appeared dead.
Washington led in this game 24-0 at one time. Now that's always the story behind great rivalries. Super wins, bitter defeats. How about the 1982 game? Washington just needed a win in the Apple Cup game in '82 to go to the Rose Bowl, and they matched up against a 2-7-1 Cougar team. The Huskies were knocked off in that one, and they were denied a trip to Pasadena.
41-yard field goal attempt. Look at that ball hook. Just barely, David.
Initially, it looked like he had the game winner. Look at Wales, feels like he's going to get credit for the field goal there, but the ball took a nasty hook on him. Lambright saying, geez, you got to be kidding me. We were leading this game by 24 points.
And we are going to overtime.
They're going to remember this Apple Cup for a long time.
No question. Well, the home team had not lost the last 5 years, and it looked like that streak would be snapped. But it was Washington 24, Washington State nothing. And a sensational 4th quarter led by sophomore quarterback Ryan Leaf and Mike Price's gutsy game calling. And it has tied this game up at 24.
Now you have to give big credit to Mike Price. How about Ryan Leaf? What a heroic performance in the 4th quarter. He got some help from his receivers, some big plays from Timms and Carpenter, and the defense of the Cougars just shutting down the Huskies and enabling them, the Cougars, to come back here in the 4th quarter. Now the way this overtime sets up, there's going to be a coin toss at midfield, and the winner of the coin toss will elect to take the ball second. 99% of the time, if you win the coin toss, you want to take the ball second. That way you know how many points you need to score. Both teams get the ball to 25-yard line. And the winner of the game is decided after both teams have had a possession and either team is leading the game. And of course, on a defensive touchdown, a return of a fumble or an interception, the game is over at that point.
Well, Mike Price talking with his captains who will make that decision, James Darling and Scott Sanderson, making sure they make the correct call if the toss of the coin goes their way.
And the clock is not involved. No clock in overtime. And this is not sudden death. Both teams get a possession of the football. You're free to kick a field goal. There's first downs. And usually the team that wins this coin toss elects to take the ball second. And that way you know what type of work you have ahead of you. If the game is still tied after the first overtime period, after both teams have a possession, then you go to the second period, and then you reverse the teams. The other team gets the ball first.
Well, we have already seen some marvelous games go to overtime this year in the Pac-10 Conference. Today, UCLA and their grudge match with USC went to 2 overtimes before beating the Trojans. And earlier this year, California went to 4 overtimes with Arizona before winning, what was it, 55, 54, 56, 55?
56, 55. And remember, Cal earlier in the season went to 3 overtimes against Oregon State. In that USC-UCLA game earlier today, both the Trojans and the Bruins were tied after they each had a possession in overtime, so it went to a second period. UCLA scored a touchdown. USC did not, and the game was over. The captains for Washington, they've been through a lot. Probation back in 1993, super years in 95, and this year, Cam Kissel, Sapp, John Fiala, Ink Aliaga, and of course the 2 almost locked first team all Pac-10 performers for the Cougars coming out. Scott Sanderson, the left tackle, and James
won the
Darling.
toss and elected to play defense. Washington chooses to defend that goal.
Smart call by Washington. They wanted to defend the goal where their fans are who travel over from Seattle. But we're going to overtime because John Wales, who won the game last year, fails from 41.
I've been around this land of ours from sea to shining sea. And if it stands for anything, it's that every man is free. Free to roam from city to city, to ride the open range. Free to come and go at will, to grab hold of the reins. But if you want to see the country in its glory and its pride, you've got to have a trusty mount that's always ready to ride.
McKenzie comes left, 3 wide left, 2 wide right. Somebody's not covered in that right side. Let's see if Leaf finds him. He steps up. He's in trouble. He's sacked to the 23-yard line. Chris Campbell with his second tackle behind the line of scrimmage. That will make it 3rd down and goal now from the 23-yard line.
Big play from the man. Hails from Linwood High School in Linwood, Washington. Backside pressure. Puts Ryan Leaf in a 3rd and long situation. 3rd and goal from the 24-yard line. Leaf has to make sure he doesn't try to bite off too much here. He wants to get the Cougars in position to score on 4th down.
Chorak's coming hard left side. Leaf is protected. He throws. Intended for McWashington. So one last attempt for the Cougars. Down 7 in overtime with a 4th and goal from the 23.
Well, Ryan Leaf took a shot down the field on a low percentage throw there. He had a lot of room to run the football. It's tough. It's tough to have the discipline to say, hey, I'm going to pick up some yardage on 3rd down and then let the game rest on 4th down. The tendency, especially for a young quarterback, is to try to get that touchdown now on 3rd down. And as a result, Washington State, they're going to need a real big play here on 4th down.
Carpenter and McKenzie come left. Michael Black stays in. With a deep drop, looping end zone. Carpenter, he's out of bounds. Washington wins.
And wouldn't it figure? The game is decided by inches. Carpenter was so close to getting a foot down in bounds. Great throw by Ryan Lee. Heroic comeback by the Cougars.
One of the greatest comebacks I have ever seen, down 21 points against the number 12 team in the nation. And Mike Price's team fights back to tie it at 24, only to go to overtime and lose it 31-24.
Remember, Steve, at one time this game was 24-0.
There's Brock Ewert. He threw the winning touchdown pass. And here is the one they tried to tie it.
This Husky defense has been so impressive over the course of the '96 season. Ryan Leaf back, trying to give Carpenter some time to come open on the post corner route. The ball is thrown perfectly. Carpenter in great position, trying to get a foot down. Wow.
Jim Lambright saying no, he's out of bounds. Let's go home a winner. Let's go back to Seattle with a record this year of 9-2 and a chance for the Washington Huskies to go to the Cotton or the Holiday Bowl in postseason. We'll come back and wrap it up. But Washington, in a thriller, wins in overtime over their rivals, Washington State.